All right, guys, let's finish up chapter 13. We're going to get more into the closing process here. Now, rule number 45, expect to close. Don't go in uncertain. Go in with a certain confidence that you are going to end the negotiation process with the close on a sale. You must act as though you deserve the order, as though there's no doubt in your mind that you have the best offer. So make sure at some point you ask for a decision from the client. Rule 46, when you walk away, always leave the door open. If a buyer's apparent final offer is below your walk away, then you need to make sure you walk away. Again, it's going back to that idea of making sure that you had certain standards in place, and if it goes below that standard, then you need to maintain the value of your product and step aside. But you want to do it nicely. You want to be respectful. Don't do it in anger. And then once you're back in the office, you can talk with your management. You can decide outside the heat of the negotiation whether to go back in with another offer. But you want to not do it right away. You want to wait at least a day because you never know. The buyer may think twice about the things that you've offered and said and call back and say, yeah, I've thought about it. You're right. Let's do the deal. Don't necessarily go crawling back immediately after a negotiation if it falls apart. Give some time. Let them think about things before you come to a decision and perhaps do something in even more of a concessionary sort of way. Now, Rule 47, use trial closes throughout the negotiation process. Trial closes are indirect methods of testing buyers' temperature. Basically, are you seeing that they're receptive to the things that you're saying, that they're becoming more and more intrigued and maybe getting ready to pull the trigger and actually commit to the advertising buy? Now, there's several types of trial closes that you can make an attempt on. There's the direct close, simply saying, hey, why don't we go ahead and put this into action? You want to avoid the words buy and order because those things signify cost, those things signify expense, and we're kind of preconditioned to think twice about the fact that we're putting out money. So you want to avoid those words. You want to frame your language in such a way that shows them, are you ready to jump on this opportunity? Shall we go ahead and seal the deal? Something to that effect. Now, if a buyer says no to your direct close, you can always come back with asking questions like, where's the hangups? What can we do to fix things and make things work? Get them to share some of their terms, some of their objections, the concerns that they have so that you can address those and perhaps solve those issues and then try to close again. There's also the assumption close. When you sense that a buyer has shifted gears from desire to conviction, you simply assume that the buyer has made the decision to buy and to proceed accordingly. You want to talk and act as though the buyer has already given you the green light. You can say things as, I'll put this order through and you'll start next Monday. Not necessarily ask them, do you want to do this? Just say you're going to go ahead and do it, and then they can agree or disagree to it after the fact. This is one case where maybe assuming would be a good thing to try to do. The summary close is where you summarize all of the benefits to which a buyer has agreed, following that summary with a statement, going with something to the effect of, can we go ahead with this plan? So here's all the things that you're going to get in this deal. You're going to get this, you're going to get this, you're going to get this, you're going to get this. It's going to do this for you. It's going to do that for you. And it meets your goal here and here. What do you think? Let's go for it. That's the summary close. The pin down close, you want to kind of use with caution. After prospects have expressed an objection, you want to pin them down by asking if you can have the go-ahead, if you can overcome their objection. So you don't like a certain creative, for example. What if we can make sure that we get this certain creative or this certain campaign, and we'll let you approve everything that we do. And, assuming we do that, we have the order, right? And work with it with that way. It gives them an out if something doesn't manifest the way that they expect it to. And then there's the T account close. Use a lined tablet or any sheet of standard size paper. Draw a line down the middle of the paper and then cross a T across the paper near the top. You're basically making a pros and cons list here. On the left side, you write down all the buyer's objections. In the area underneath, write a list of all the reasons supporting the buyer's objections. Then in the right column, you want to offset those objections with all of the different benefits. And ideally, you want your list to be longer than the buyer's. And that's going to show the value of what you're offering. So again, ideally, you want your list to be longer. At the very least, you want to be able to combat every objection that they have with a counter benefit, and that counter benefit needs to be stronger than the objection that they have. Choice closes. Well, the choice close is providing different proposals, usually 3 proposals, and then you can simply ask prospects which of those options they prefer. When you have the answer, you have the order. When buyers are given a choice, they can make a decision without being forced into a corner. So instead of saying, do you want option A, option B, option C, or none of the above, you just say, do you want option A, B, or C? And if they choose one, then you can go ahead and close. The minor point choice is where you attempt to get buyers to choose and approve one or more minor details in an offer. And if they agree with that, then you can make the sale. The more minor points on which you can get agreement, the better. It's, again, that idea of building momentum. If you get them to agree on one minor point, on several minor points, then it's a lot easier to continue moving on and get the entire deal to be agreed to. Clincher closes. You make a final concession on a major request, on an important issue, or on a substantial added value. And you hold this back until the end and offer it to clinch the deal. So maybe there's something that they've been asking for, and you've been hesitant to give it to them. And then after the negotiation process, they're still kind of hung up on that thing. You finally offer it to them. That seals the deal. So you want to have something strong that you know that they really want to be able to offer to them as that final piece that gets them to go ahead and pull the trigger. Now, last resort closes. You want to be really careful with these because they can make you seem really desperate. The make me an offer close is when buyers make an offer. And basically, when they say that, they say, I'm willing to spend X amount, or I'm willing to purchase these certain groups of things. And when they say that, they're committing to that particular buy, but they're also giving you the parameters of the final barriers to the sale. And this is, again, something you want to use as a last resort sort of thing. It's usually going to wind up in you making some sort of a major concession in order for you to seal the deal. Similar approach is the what will it take close. It's a little more desperate than the make me an offer close. But, this might be something where if you're really, really, really in need of this deal, or that it's a desirable deal for you, that it could be the very last thing that you try before the client goes and walks away. Never, ever, ever use these closes. The poor me close. This is where you're basically trying to do something in such a way that you lessen yourself in the eyes of your prospects, or that you're putting on like a sob story of some sort. Oh, the boss will fire me if I don't close this deal, or I really need to make the commission on this because my spouse is in the hospital and it's really, really tough at home, and that just makes you seem really weak. Don't do that. The now you have it, now you don't close. You can even think of this, the old term is bait and switch, where you promise something and then all of a sudden you can't deliver on that promise. You've basically lost all trust with the client when you do something like that. And then the for you only close. They will try to say, this is something I'll do just for you because you're special. And then you give some big concessions in order to make a sale. Then the prospect thinks they have you wrapped around their finger, and you're never going to get a decent agreement with them after that. They're always going to look for rock bottom prices and the most bang for their buck, instead of you being able to make a reasonable price offer and a reasonable package offer to them. Let's go back to the rules now. Rule number 48, do not close too aggressively. Always keep the relationship in mind. You can create a sense of urgency with deadlines and limited supply maneuvers, but the timetable has to be the other side's. So you want to, keep things on the calm, on the even keel. Don't put a lot of pressure on things. Keep things cordial and respectful. Rule 49, when closing, confidence is vital. You can't signal in any way your fear of losing or the fact that you need to close fast. Maintain your confidence so that your deal is being presented, that it's the right one for them. Do not signal anything that would give them pause or give them an excuse to hesitate. If you are not confident, they are going to lose confidence in you. Rule 50, have confidence that you can give the other side a good deal. And what do we mean by good deal? It's whatever the client thinks is a good deal. Different ways you can frame this are in the textbook. Take a look at the pretty extensive list that's there in Exhibit 13.7. Rule 51, once you get commitments, say thank you. Then shut up and get out of there. Buyer's remorse usually sets in after someone buys something. You do not want to be present when buyer's remorse occurs. I would add to this, get the signature, get them to sign the agreement. So, have it on paper, on purpose. Don't give them much of an opportunity, if any opportunity, to be able to back out. Rule 52, always rehearse your negotiating and closing plan. Just like you do with a presentation, just like you do with an educating session, you want to rehearse things. You want to try to think about what sort of objections they may have, what sort of terms they may come up with. Be prepared for those things as much as possible. Always, also as well, you want to try to put on your best face, again, being positive, but being matter of fact, being calm in any situation that may come your way. Rehearsal is a good way for you to stay on track with that. And then finally, Rule 53, after negotiations, take time to debrief. Think about what happened, what went well, what didn't go well, what can you do better next time. Maybe there's something within the rate card or the advertising packages that's being offered that doesn't quite make a lot of sense. Talk about that within your sales department, with your sales manager. That perhaps maybe there is something that can be done in a better sort of way. Maybe the way that packages are framed and put together can be done a little better. And maybe you've received other sorts of feedback, whether it's about yourself, about your company, that you can take and reflect on and maybe assess if there's some changes that need to be made. We're done. That's the negotiation process. Complete those notes, complete the study questions, and then bring your thoughts to class. We're going to try to deal with some of these negotiation rules, maybe have a little bit of fun with them. We'll make it worth your while. Come on in. And I'm not just conceding things here. We'll have some fun with this as best as we can. Come on in. We'll discuss this chapter when we get together.